My entitled family demanded me to hand over my business. So I against them and cut them off. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and I've worked my butt off for everything I have. Growing up, I didn't exactly get handed opportunities. My parents were the kind who played blatant favorites, and I was never their golden child. That title went to my older brother, who could do no wrong. He was their pride and joy while I was just there. Don't get me wrong, I love my brother in a way, but he's always had this sense of entitlement, probably because our parents have always bailed him out. When I was struggling to pay for college, they told me to figure it out because I needed to learn independence. But when my brother racked up thousands of dollars in credit card debt for partying, they paid it off without a second thought. I've spent most of my adult life trying to distance myself from that dynamic. I worked multiple jobs through college, started a small online business in my mid-20s, and slowly grew it into something successful. It's a boutique tech consulting company now, and while I'm not a millionaire, it's doing well enough to support me comfortably. I'm proud of what I've built, but apparently my success didn't sit well with my parents or my brother. It started subtly about a year ago. My parents began making comments about how nice it was that I'd built something stable and how my brother was still finding his footing. He's 35, by the way, and still living at home. I didn't think much of it at first, but then the comments got more pointed. Don't you think you could involve your brother in your business? My mom asked one day during dinner. What does that mean? I asked, genuinely confused. Well, she said, you could teach him the ropes, maybe give him a leadership role. I almost laughed. My brother has zero experience in tech or consulting. His last job was as a shift manager at a fast food place, and he quit after 2 months because it was too stressful. I tried to politely tell my mom that wasn't going to happen. She got huffy but let it go for the moment. Then came the family meeting. A few months ago, my parents called me over for dinner. When I got there, it wasn't just a casual meal. It was a full-blown ambush. My brother was there along with my parents, looking smug as hell. After some small talk, my dad cleared his throat and said, "We've been thinking about your business, and we have an idea that will benefit the family." I immediately felt uneasy. He went on to explain that since I was doing so well, it only made sense for me to bring my brother in, not just as an employee, but as a co-owner. They wanted me to sign over 50% of my business to him. I was floored. "You can't be serious," I said, looking around the table. "Oh, we're very serious," my mom chimed in. "Your brother deserves a chance to succeed, and you have the resources to help him." "He's my brother, not my charity case," I snapped. "I built this from nothing. He's never even asked me for advice or shown interest in what I do. Why would I just hand over half of my company?" My brother finally spoke up. "It's not just about you," he said, his tone dripping with entitlement. "You have a responsibility to the family. You've been lucky, and now it's time to share the wealth." Lucky. That word hit me like a slap. I told them there was no way I was giving up half of my business. That's when things got nasty. My mom started crying, saying she'd always known I was selfish. My dad accused me of tearing the family apart. My brother just sat there smirking like he'd already won. They tried every tactic in the book: guilt tripping, emotional blackmail, even outright threats. My dad said if I didn't do this, they'd never forgive me. My mom said they'd cut me out of their will. My brother hinted that he'd make my life difficult if I didn't comply. I told them they were insane if they thought they could bully me into giving away what I'd worked so hard for. That's when my dad dropped the real bombshell. "We already spoke to a lawyer," he said. "It's a simple process. We just need your signature." I felt like the floor had been ripped out from under me. What they didn't know was that I'd been preparing for something like this. Over the years, I'd heard enough of their entitlement to know they might try to pull something shady. So, when I started my business, I made sure to consult a lawyer and set everything up properly. My company's ownership is legally protected under an LLC, and any transfer of shares requires my explicit consent. Calmly, I told them this wasn't happening. That's when my brother lost it. He started yelling about how I'd always been the favorite, which was laughable, and how I didn't deserve what I had. He accused me of being heartless and said I'd regret it when I was old and alone. I stood up and said, If you think screaming at me will change my mind, you're delusional. You all made your choices, and I've made mine. I'm done. I left that night and haven't spoken to any of them since. My parents have been blowing up my phone, alternating between angry messages and pathetic pleas for forgiveness. My brother even had the audacity to show up at my office one day, demanding I reconsider. I had security escort him out. Last week, I found out through a mutual family friend that my parents have been bad-mouthing me to anyone who will listen, calling me greedy and ungrateful. But I don't care anymore. For the first time in my life, I feel free. Unfortunately, their entitlement didn't stop there. My brother began a smear campaign against me on social media, posting misleading stories and outright lies, portraying himself as a victim of my greed and cruelty. He even tagged my business accounts, trying to damage my reputation with my clients. I responded by issuing a professional statement on my company's platforms, clarifying the false claims without engaging in personal attacks. I also consulted a lawyer to send a cease and desist letter to him, warning him about the legal consequences of defamation. This move helped protect my business reputation and showed that I wouldn't be bullied into submission. Then, my parents tried to manipulate other family members against me by spreading a narrative that I was hoarding the family fortune and depriving my brother of a rightful opportunity. They contacted cousins, aunts, and uncles, painting me as the villain in a family drama. Instead of confronting each family member individually, I arranged a Zoom call where I calmly explained my side of the story, ensuring transparency. I shared my journey, the hard work involved, and my reasons for protecting my business. This direct communication helped me clarify misunderstandings and maintain some family relationships, despite my parents' efforts. In a more drastic step, my brother tried to interfere with my business directly by attempting to poach my employees. He offered them higher salaries and spread rumors that my company was unstable and I was planning to sell it soon. I held a company meeting where I openly discussed these tactics with my team. I reassured them about the stability and growth plans of the business and offered transparent insight into our financial health. I also enhanced employee benefits slightly to show my appreciation and commitment to their welfare, which helped in retaining their loyalty and trust. A month later, I received a letter from a lawyer claiming to represent my parents and brother, threatening a lawsuit for supposed unpaid family debts they alleged were used to start my business. A complete fabrication. I responded firmly through my legal counsel, providing clear financial records and documentation that showed no such debts existed. My lawyer prepared a comprehensive defense, indicating not only the baselessness of their claims, but also highlighting their attempts at extortion. We threatened a countersuit for harassment and malicious prosecution, which quickly led to the withdrawal of their legal threats. This whole ordeal was exhausting, but enlightening. I realized that my family's toxic behavior was not just about money or success. It was about control. They could not stand the fact that I was independent and beyond their reach. Cutting off my family wasn't an easy decision, but it was necessary. They showed me they don't see me as a person, just a resource to exploit. And as much as it hurts to walk away, I'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who don't respect me. If you're dealing with entitled family members, my advice is this: stand your ground. You don't owe anyone your hard-earned success, no matter how much they try to guilt you into thinking otherwise. Life's too short to spend it on people who don't appreciate you. Instead, invest your time and energy into those who do. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them, so please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.